So, hello everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for staying. I know it has been a long, long day. My name is Margarete Schramberg. I'm from Austria, from Nemsa, and I'm former Minister of Economy of Austria and Digital Affairs. And of course, for Austria, sports is a passion, especially winter sports. So when I heard that the Saudi Investment Forum, the first, will come up, it cannot be done without winter sports. And I'm happy I heard 150,000 or 100,000 viewers online. Also, welcome to our viewers online. I have a distinguished panel today from Saudi Arabia, my new home country, where I now live. I consider Saudi home, and Austria, my second home country, where I come from. I'm a passionate skier, and so I'm really happy to start our discussion today with Faik. Faik, you are an amazing athlete. Faik is the first Saudi Olympic participant in skiing and in the Grand Slalom. This is what you did. And you also have a great history, even if you're very young, in sports, especially in skiing. And with this experience, competing in the Olympic Winter Games in China 2022, can you share this with us a little bit and give us an insight? What were your feelings? What were the challenges? Tell us a little bit about it.
So I think our challenges here being in Saudi are quite obvious. The fact that skiing is not yet accessible in Saudi makes it a challenge for all of us. And I believe as soon as skiing becomes more accessible, we can achieve a lot more, not only on the slopes, but I think also importantly off the slopes. So yeah, with the projects in place, I believe that it should ease and subside this challenge for us, and it should make it a much easier environment for us to operate in.
And can you tell us about the special moment? How was it in China? When you were there, when you were racing, when you had finally finished, knowing that you are the first Saudi and the first in GCC finishing such a race, such an important race. That's your applause.
So it all happened really fast. At the time, I struggled to digest what was going on, but of course, I was really, proud and honored to be in that position, to be representing Saudi in the Gulf. So yeah, it's always an honor to be inspiring other people to take leaps into areas that are not traditional for us here as Saudis, since obviously winter sports is not a traditional sport for us. So yeah, it was an amazing moment. I learned so much, and I'm looking forward to sharing that knowledge and helping people in Saudi and the region grow and take steps into winter sports.
Yeah, thank you. And we know it's just at the beginning. Now it's just the start. And we have you, Hassan, with us, the Vice President, Vice Chairman of the Saudi Snow Sports Federation. You are just in the function for 3 months now. So you have great visions, and you are also a great marketing person. So I'm convinced it will take a very good way from here. But tell us a little bit about the Saudi Snow Sports Federation. What are you doing? What are your strategy? What is it?
Thank you very much, Margaret. I wrote my note on before I joined, but after sitting with Faik and hearing him out, I figured out how challenging this is. I know it's a bit difficult, but for us, a ski sport federation we want to create that culture of ski in Saudi Arabia, and we would like to draw the map. Creating a culture, it takes much more than just having a regular federation. It's changing the whole philosophy, how people perceive skiing. We're in a country that doesn't have snow yet. Soon we will. So people has to take this sport really serious and understand what it takes to be an athlete. I always keep saying an Olympic player is a superhero. They're not regular human to me. For someone to run the marathon, it takes much more than a regular human that puts tears, maybe blood, to win that race. Being able to ski is not enough. To race and win races, that's take a lot of effort. And Faik was just sharing with me behind the scene how tears, how stressful, and the strength behind it, which makes me feel, ooh, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort to make this happen. So this is what's mainly the federation is about, to build, to grow, to nurture such athletes such Faik.
That sounds amazing, and you will all have all the help from Austria that we can give, because we are a very old skiing nation, of course. I come from Kitzbühel. I don't know if anybody of you have been there. Yeah, there are a few of you. A lot of Saudis like to go to Selamsee in Salzburg. So I'm born close to the Kitzbühel, is not far from there. And we have a representative today of an Austrian company with us who has been founded 1893. And that is important for skiing, because skiing needs the great athletes, it needs the federations, but it's nothing without the infrastructure. So you need infrastructure for it. You need to get up somewhere in the mountain. In the upcoming project Trojena and in others, we need to go up the mountain, and we have the best quality technology is needed there. And we have Alexander today with us. Alexander has an amazing career in Doppelmayr, which is the world's largest cable car company. And when you have been in Selamsee or Kitzbühel or anywhere, you have used the cable cars there. And they are in many, many countries around the world. They have participated in the Olympic Games. And Alexander, you have been in the company since the beginning of your career, actually. And can you tell us a little bit of this importance of the Doppelmayr first? What is it? What does it do? And second, of the infrastructure, the innovations there, and how this innovation or this technology evolved over the years?
Thank you, Margareta. Yes, Doppelmayr, as Margareta was saying, was founded 1893, and Doppelmayr is the world market leader in producing cable cars and ropeway. And as I know, we have in Austria many guests from Saudi Arabia visiting Selamsee, Salzburg, Vienna, and normally when they go up to the mountain, they are using our product, because otherwise they don't get up. And in the winter sports, it's a kind of the same thing. When you want to ski, you have either walk up to ski down, or it's more convenient to take a cable car up to the mountain and ski down then there. And Margareta, you asked me what are the newest innovation. I mean, we are always the first mover in this kind of industry, and right now there is a lot of investment going into the digitalization, into we call it automation, to make it more simple for the operators to operate the cable cars, but on the other hand, to make it more comfortable for the skiers to get up there. And for that, there are some products like Auro, we call it. It's an autonomous ropeway where there is no need anymore for personnel being monitoring everything. And hopefully this will also go into the project you are planning to do up at Neom Trojena. And I think I have to congratulate it. I think in the end it will be a fantastic project you are targeting to do.
Mm-hmm. You have told me also that you have personally participated also in a lot of Olympic winter games, Sochi, Korea, China, and Doppelmayr was in the first ever Olympic Winter Games in Oslo. So can you tell us a little bit more about the Olympic spirit there, and what is it about to be a partner there, and what challenges do you see?
Yes, I mean we are partner with the Olympics since 1952 actually, Oslo, we participated, or we did install our products in Sochi, in Korea, in China last time. And there is always a common goal there. There is always a fixed date where the game will happening, and for that date you have to have the infrastructure ready, and it's always important in order to have a perfect organization and a good setup to make that possible, because you guys here, you have also this target, in 2029 to have your Asian Games here, and I'm 100% sure you will achieve that, and I cross all the fingers that you have a successful event there.
Yeah, and our fourth panelist is Peter. And Peter, I guess something today happened. I think never before skis have entered, I guess, the Ritz-Carlton. You brought the first skis here, and you're from Head. You've been many years an active sports person yourself, an athlete. You have been an entrepreneur now, and you have many years with Head. So we need the equipment too, of course. Yeah? We have athletes can only be successful if the equipment is there. And today we had a lot of discussions, and we've heard also yesterday about the ecosystem. And equipment, good equipment or excellent equipment manufacturing is an important part of this. So can you tell us a little bit about this sector of the production of skis and other sports equipment, how big it is, how important is it, and what does Head play a role? You're also sponsor of one of my favorite skiers, and tell us a little bit more about this equipment part of the ecosystem.
Okay, thanks, Margarete. Well, skiing is, compared to many other sports, due to the fact that it can only be executed in less markets than, for instance, golf or tennis, which you can play all over the world. That's why the ski market is pretty small. However, we are talking about a quantity of 3.5 million pairs of skis sold worldwide. And Austria is a kind of, we call Austria the cradle of skiing, where skiing was invented and where also the best products are made. The Austrian ski industry counts for more than 50% of all the worldwide skis produced, because there are some other brands as well. And Head was one of the first brands starting producing skis back in the day. Head, our owner, or our founder, Howard Head, he was American, he was an aeronautical engineer, and he started playing around, and he built the first metal ski, which was a huge innovation back in these days, you know. And this innovation, this innovative spirit was kept all over the time in Head, and that's why, not at least because of that fact, we are the #1 ski brand in the world. We are also supporting the best athletes in the world. And this is the best marketing tool which a ski brand can have. So this is also the reason we are the #1 brand in winning most medals at Olympic Games. I think it's the 6th year in a row that Head has won the so-called Brand World Cup. That means we have collected the most World Cup points among ladies and women throughout the World Cup season. So the path of success is really wide, and we are very proud to be in that situation.
So now as we have you here, you have to tell us what is the coolest stuff at the moment. We have skiers, we have snowboarders. You are a snowboarder, yeah? Skiers, of course. And what is the coolest stuff coming up or being there?
Yeah, that's a matter of culture. I mean, if you go to China, Chinese would say snowboarding is way cooler than alpine skiing. While, to be honest, the relationship between alpine skiing and snowboarding is 9-to-1. So alpine skiing is 9 times bigger. However, snowboarding has an existence permission as well. It is cool, there's no doubt, but we as passionate skier, of course, prefer skiing, frankly spoken, you know. And regarding stuff, you have cool stuff here and there, you know. So it also should be defined what is cool. Yeah, is fast cool? Is stylish cool? Is fat ski school. You know, there's currently a trend that skis get wider in the middle. So that means they are floating better, so they are easier to ski off-piste and in powder snow or in wet snow. So it depends on. And if you look to Scandinavia or to US, for instance, they mainly ski on wider skis, while in Central Europe, Austria, Italy, France, more narrow ski, more racing-oriented ski are dominating the market.
I think the amazing thing here in Saudi Arabia will be this combination. We discussed this previously, also this combination intragena of a full year season with you can swim down at the seaside and then at the same time ski, and so close to Europe. So this will be something very, very special and exciting coming up. So Faik, if you hear all this about innovations, or what do you expect, you as an athlete, what is your expectations and to the innovation side or to the organizations, and what do you need to be successful?
I think for us to be successful here in Saudi in this space, we need to really embrace it, not only by building a ski resort, but by creating an ecosystem. Reaping the benefits of the ski industry, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry, is quite complex. And yeah, to create that, we need to truly immerse ourselves and you know, take up the opportunities that are currently available. I personally think that as of today, the ski industry does have a lot of untapped opportunities which we can take advantage of. And I'm personally already working on taking advantage of these opportunities, and I hope I aim to help position Saudi to do the same, as I see it's a very interesting market, and yeah, we hope to be key players there, hopefully.
And you told me you are in the middle of the training. Actually, you came here for this forum. Thank you for that. And so what is the next step? So what is your next target at the moment? So what is coming up in your sports career?
So the next big event is the Milan and Cortina Winter Olympics in February of 2026, so in just under a year. And I was just in Cortina. The men's alpine skiing won't be competing there. We'll be in Bormio, which is a little bit further away. But yeah, preparing for that. And Beijing was more of a learning experience for me. Definitely was very nervous and unfamiliar. You know, it was an unfamiliar place for me to be, so hopefully this time around I'll have more experience and yeah, just be more prepared to put my best foot forward and see what I can achieve.
I will do you do. We'll fingers crossed, and we will watch you and cheer for you. And Hassan, if you hear your athletes' challenges and everything, so your organization, your foundation is fairly new, and so what is the strategy a little bit more in detail? What are your plans to inspire the next generation? So what do you plan on that one?
Okay, thank you very much. The challenges are basically the opportunities. Our biggest challenge is perception. Saudi Arabia is not known for snow, and to find an athlete is very difficult, and especially for someone like Faik and the rest of the team, they started way beyond the federation. And that's why we're happy to have such athletes who are, I wouldn't say making our life easier, but literally have spent the effort and time before we are created. And this challenge is the opportunity where the transformation and perception from very challenging to participating, and not only participating, but competing, hopefully winning one day. I know it's not easy, I know it's very difficult, but with the abilities, with the all resources we have, with the vision of 2030, enabling the youth, development, tourism, all the budgets, this is a big jump. And hopefully with all these resources, we can transform this perception into a different picture. I'm very happy. I mean, if we look into the strategies, the first strategy we have is to find athletes. It's very, I wouldn't say very difficult, but the existence of athletes like Faig and the others, they're quite few. And to nurture them is even more difficult. And to have the ecosystem and the culture changing the perception of the sport in general is quite interesting. I still remember 10 years ago, you will rarely find someone bragging or sharing his ski experience. Fast forward, nowadays, every winter season, you would find few families, few members, not in hundreds, I would say in thousands, they're sharing their ski experience, which tells you that there is a transformation about the sport itself, about the education, about getting their kids exposed, about training themselves, about buying the right equipment, about going to the right places. Now I hear more stories and more technical stories about equipment. I'm glad to have someone from HED over here. It's my first, by the way, my first set, and I feel so much in touch because this is my first set that I learned how to ski in, and what's the difference between the wide and narrow, and the length and the stiffness, and off-piste, on-piste. It's not one size fits all at all. It's much more complicated than that. So it takes time and effort to have this culture and to educate the people. Maybe it's fun at the beginning, but then once they start getting in and they have the passion, they will realize it's not easy with someone who's naturally a skier, who born into a ski slope. Where we have, one of the strategies is accessibility. Trojena is coming in hopefully soon, and this will give us more training hours on the slope. For an athlete, he has to spend at least 120 days a year. If you look into our calendars, flying the team to attend trainings in different countries, it's not easy, it's not cheap. It takes time and effort, especially for young people who are like 8 and 10 years, which take much more than trainings. Allergies, many other points that you need to keep into consideration while taking this team abroad and taking care of them. So these are the challenges. These are the main strategies we have. So building the culture, find the athletes, having accessibility, hopefully with the right trainings, we'll have some results.
Any plans also on teaching schools? Because we discussed today, we found out that one of the big additional topics will be also to offer like proper ski schools, and that will come together with Trojena, of course, but also with indoor. So knowing that Saudi Arabia will get indoor skiing, I think 3 or 4 times, it's quite good for training, especially for slalom, what Peter told us. It's good conditions. Any plans for the next generation, the young ones? We talked to the ministry today. They said, okay, set the rules, but together with the private sector, how could we push this, and how could we help this?
Yeah, it's definitely, we have 2 approved indoor skiing coming soon to Saudi Arabia on top of Trojena, which is the most exciting projects. And I believe Trojena is a symbol of transformation and showing that nothing is impossible. It's a sign by itself that having a natural snow at the middle of Saudi Arabia that runs for a full season, 3 months, 36 kilometers of snow and piste, that's good enough for trainings. And definitely, we are starting from 8 years old, and we have at least one of the candidates 8 years old. So we're nurturing them from 8 years old all up to 24, 26, and hoping that with the right plan, and we're still learning. We cannot say we're experts. Yes, I've been skiing for 20 years, but that's not enough. If you compare any experience over here on the table, on the panel, it's a cumulative of experience that generations after generations. And that's a big gap that we need to catch. hopefully with the support of experts and advisors and athletes who lived next to the slopes for some time, definitely that will help us to craft a plan, not for us, for generation to come. I always keep saying I want to bring the child in me for generations to come. I truly wish that I had such an opportunity like maybe Faik or other participants that have all this attention, all this effort to bring this sport to the next level. I did not, but I'll do my best to give them the right opportunity to flourish and bloom. Hopefully one day we'll do something.
Yeah, for sure. Peter, we discussed about this indoor skiing and its role, and it will have a big role in Saudi Arabia because it's hot in summer, we know, and also in winter it's not too cold here in Riyadh, but though it's colder than for some than expected. But can you tell us a little bit from your experience on these different steps? So we'll have the indoor, we have the Trojena, all this ecosystem. What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think that Trojena will be the kickoff for introducing skiing to Saudi Arabia, but of course it would make sense to provide the opportunity to ski 12 months a year, although experience in an indoor facility never has, how to say, the same effect or the same impact than skiing in the mountains, you know. So, but for the training purpose or for the learning purpose, for making the first moves on snow, an indoor facility, not too steep, stable or constant conditions is fantastic for making the first steps on snow. So it would really be beneficial to see the one or the other indoor facility, and as far as I'm informed, there are 3 facilities of that kind in planning that will be extremely helpful to introduce skiing.
So it plays a role in it to enable, especially the very young one, to get the first steps. Correct. And get very early in touch with the sport.
Correct, correct.
So it will, we agree, it will not be a mass sport in Saudi Arabia, but it should be access for everybody and to spot the talent. Yeah. Can you two, Faik and Peter, talk a little bit about the talent spotting? You are in this sector so many years, you, Peter, and then Faik, a little bit about how do you find the talents in general? How have you been found? How have you been get attached to skiing?
So, coincidentally, I grew up skiing abroad, of course. It was a family activity growing up, and luckily I had a passion for it and pursued it. Unfortunately, that's not the case for many, and I believe what we need to do is encourage and promote mass participation from a young age, because at the end of the day, if you don't have that, then you don't have anything. You need to have young people engaged at all levels into the sport, and from there you can build really whatever you want. So the focus needs to be there, and with this we need to really focus on obviously overcoming our biggest challenge, which I think is accessibility. Without access, you don't have anything, and then obviously after access, you need, you know, the youth and the next generation to actually carry the sport and do something from it. So it's complex. It's not very easy, but I think we're up for it, and I'm very hopeful to see positive results from Saudi in winter sports in general. You look at countries, you know, like the UK. They don't have skiing in the UK. However, they do have, you know, athletes like Dave Riding, who's one of the best skiers in the world. Yes. So they were able to do that obviously through a lot of dry slopes, which of course is different, but through that you can enable and hopefully create a pipeline for people to ski in Europe and on real snow and on mountains. So yeah, I'm hopeful, and I think that obviously with the introduction of indoor ski slopes, that will help a lot. And there's also an entire element that we haven't really talked about yet, but I think that's you know, at the Winter Olympics, for example, you have half, or let's say a little bit less than half of the events taking place indoors. And with indoor sports, the issue of heat and climate is not on the agenda. So so yeah, we do have potential and possibilities in ice sports like hockey, curling, ice skating, speed skating, all that kind of stuff. So when we talk about winter sports, I think we get so fixated on skiing, because I think maybe that's probably the biggest one, and it's what most people can relate to. But we need to also remember that there's an ice side to the sport that we can also, that's probably where most of our potential is, actually, more than skiing. So it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds, and yeah, it's very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely, because some of you definitely know that in Kitzbühel, my hometown, there is one of the biggest skiing races, the Hahnenkamm race, and I gave personally a medal once to a British skier. He was number 2, he was the second in the race, and he learned it on grass. So he had no snow until he was like 15, almost 15 years old. So it is a valid option to start to learn it. And Peter, what's your opinion on the young talent and what to come next?
As we know, we heard there are different approaches, to get a star or to get really good in skiing. In Austria, for instance, we have a very tight network due to the fact that skiing is a kind of national sport in Austria, with hundreds of ski resorts, where from local teams up to institutional teams, national team CBA, we lead talents to the top. National A team is the highest level in Austria. Of course, it happens from time to time that certain talents get lost out of whatever reason because of a wrong evaluation of a coach. And then we saw that these guys, Hermann Mayer, I don't know if some of you are familiar with him, he was one of the biggest racers back in the days, came from another side. So he was individually trained. Marcel Hirscher was a superstar in skiing. He was not coming from an institutional way within the Austrian Ski Federation. He was trained by his father. So, and as Farid was saying, there are different ways to get big. But on the other side, there should be a kind of network or institution that observes, that has an eye on the talents and support them as soon as possible. Of course, it requires, as you said correctly before, it's a financial effort, because skiing is an expensive sport. Even if you live in a country where you have hundreds of ski resorts and you can train almost 12 months a year, but it requires a lot of traveling, it requires material that costs money, it requires coaches, etc. So, yeah, but as I said, different ways to get stars, and of course it would be fantastic to see in a couple of years a Saudi racer play an important role in the Ski World Cup, let me say it this way.
So we talk a lot about the next generation, and talking about the next generation is not possible without talking about the digital transformation. You have mentioned it a little bit. Social media plays, of course, an important role on spreading it, and there is a lot of social media use and active participation in Saudi youth. This digital transformation, Alex, plays also an important role in companies and the sector which you are in, which is the infrastructure. It changes a lot, it has changed a lot. Can you give us a few examples on this? I think it's interesting to look into this side as our final point.
Yes, I mean, our clients' ideas normally pushes us for innovations. The new innovation on the digitalization side is we have a project or a product called Claire, where you can manage a complete resort. Means you have your ski lifts in there, you have the snowmaking in there, you have even the grooming machineries in there, where you can plan all the activities you need that you have at the end of the day a functional ski resort. I think this will be a big issue in the future, because you have to be very efficient, also in regard of the sustainability, and as I said, there are products out there. There is a second step there, which is training. To operate a ski resort like Neon Trojena you are planning to, you need skilled people, and for that reason we have also training programs, digital training programs, in place to make it possible that you really can hire new people. For example, down here in Saudi Arabia, you can educate them, and at the end of the day, you have people who can operate a ski resort.
Mm-hmm. So the new thing, so these ski resorts, they are integrated, so nothing is isolated in it anymore. So that's what you also saying.
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. In the Clare, like Drogena, you have many ski lifts up there, like chairlifts, like urban cable cars probably, and at the end of the day, all this equipment have to be maintained and operated in an efficient way, and this kind of digital systems helps you to operate the whole infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. We have also talked today with Ministry of Sports about the fact that different skills will be needed, not only in the athletes themselves, but in the full sector to support a location like Trojena and also the indoor facilities. It's not just about the infrastructure, it's about the people, it's about the software, so to say. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And at the end of the day, it's not only the software, you need the people there, which are educated, operating and running infrastructure like you are going to plan up there at Trojena. And I think there are many aspects to follow to make that successful.
Yeah, and you also told me, and I've already used it too, some of you might have been also to APA, a lot of you to APA. I was in APA, who has used the cable car there, cable car in APA. Yeah, a few of you, yes, you can see. So tell us about it. How long is it there? Was it, and what does it have to do with you?
Yeah, I mean, the cable car in APA, we have installed 30 years ago. So it's quite a long time since we have entered our products here in Saudi Arabia. We are very proud that after 30 years now, there is a few other projects are coming up in Trojena, and hopefully in a few years from now, we have some more installations here in Saudi Arabia, not only on the winter sport aspect, but maybe also in the urban applications, where cable cars can definitely have a positive impact in sustainable public transportation in cities.
I find this very interesting because maybe worth mentioning, even if we are talking about the sport, that this type of infrastructure is now experiencing an evolution. And an additional aspect, which you told me this amazing story from South America. Maybe you can share it with us. So using cable cars in an environment which is urban could mean access for kids to schools. And I think I like this story so much. Maybe you can share it with us, because we can see that innovation has, in a certain area, developed for a certain area, can have a positive effect somewhere completely different. And as I find it so important, I wanted to mention it also, even if it does not have to do so much with sports.
No, it has not a lot to do with sports, but those kind of technology came out of the winter sports market. And what Margarete was mentioning is our projects which we have installed in La Paz in Bolivia, but also in Mexico City, where we have installed cable cars, a cable car network like build a subway. But the positive thing is in La Paz, for example, it was very difficult for individuals or for families, because it's from the countryside, very steep roads, very small roads, to come to the school or to a hospital or to infrastructure. And so we have built a cable car. And some mother told me one day, he said, hey, we are so happy that you are in, because now it makes the way for children from home to school so safe. And that's also kind of a reason why cable cars make a big difference. I know here in Saudi Arabia it's maybe a little bit different, because you have such a safe infrastructure, but this is not in every country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and so coming to the final round and the final discussions we have on this on our topic, I wanted to ask Peter also what you want to add. What is your if you look to the future and you look like 10 years ahead, what is coming and what are the developments? What about the topic of energy efficiency also in the production side of winter sports and sports equipment in general?
Well, looking 10 years ahead is almost a mission impossible. What we can be sure of, that skis will still look like skis. That means that they are bended in the shuffle. This is a precondition which will remain forever. Currently, I can say that the whole industry is working intensively on a sustainability project. That means recycling of skis, of ski boots, of bindings is a big issue. And interesting-wise, just 2 weeks ago, we introduced a technology which allows us the first time to separate certain parts from a ski and reuse that. That was not possible so far because a ski contains wood, steel, carbon, glass fiber, rubber, damping materials, plastic, etc. So it's impossible to separate those items, but we have developed a special construction that enables us to take off the running base, to take off the steel edges, to take off the top surface and reuse the core with all the carbon surroundings in a new ski. Of course, this project still contains a lot of questions which need to be answered. For instance, how to get back to skis, because you need a ski factory to do that process. So, but in theory, it's a first step to do that. So that's for sure something we are working on. Yes, producing skis is a high-intensive job regarding energy. That's a big issue. But even in that content, I can say that Head's factory is independent from external energy providers. We have our own power station. There is a small river next to the factory which provides us with energy. So Head is super green on that. So a lot of things in that direction have already been solved or are currently in progress. And as I said, I mean, I personally dream of a digital ski boot, you know, because putting on a ski boot, especially a racing boot, is still a challenge, you know. It's a very tight, it's, how to say, from time to time can provide some pressure, but only for racing boots. Other boots are very comfortable, I can promise you. And I'm dreaming of an ice ski boot, for instance, that you open with an app, that you close with an app, that you can heat, where you can balance the forward and backward lean, etc. I'm in the industry since 35 years, and I don't stop talking about this, and I will only retire once this project gets real.
That's good. It's always innovations coming up, new things ahead. So, Faik, what is your dream? What do you expect from the industry? What you want? What is your requirements?
I think, as he mentioned, there's obviously a lot of opportunity, and I think that there's so much room for innovation. There's things that I talk about all the time, rooms where we can improve, like, for example, a lot of people might not know, but the way people are dug out of avalanches seems like it's something from the Stone Age. You would think that in 2025 there would be better ways to, first of all, locate and then dig someone out of an avalanche. So that's obviously just one example, but I think in multiple verticals within this space, you can find so many ways to innovate and create a better product for the industry. So yeah, it's very exciting, and as I mentioned, I have been actively pursuing some of these projects, and I hope to inspire more people from here to do so as well, because I think it's fun to be in this space, and it's also very enriching. So yeah, I look forward to it.
And as Saudi Arabia has no natural snow, as we know, there's hail, and I see a lot of videos with a lot of hail in Abha and up in the north where Neom is. But what is your experience on, and share this please, on skiing on artificial snow? Because I grew up when there was no artificial snow at all. Now my village is on 600 meters and we could not do without artificial snow. So just letting you know, when anybody tells you who's snowing on artificial snow, you only need in Saudi, that's not the case. We need in our village artificial snow to be able to do the full season, or in some seasons with now the warming to do the any season. So how do you feel skiing on artificial snow?
I think it depends who you ask. Most racers, I think, prefer to ski on artificial snow because it does have a more grippy element to it. And I think that's possibly linked to the water content in the snow. I think that the water content in artificial snow is less than real snow, particularly in Europe, because obviously depending on where you are in the world, the water content in the snow is high or less. So yeah, places like Japan, for example, which it's pretty ironic because it's an island, it's surrounded by water, but the snow there is really dry and light, which gives it this fluffy feeling. And then you have places like China, where they get most of their wind from the north, therefore it's dry wind, and basically means dry snow. And this dry snow is very grippy, so for a racer, most racers would have to entirely change their setup and adjust to this aggressive snow environment to be able to adapt, basically. So depending on where you are in the world, it can vary drastically, and it's just a preference thing. Depends what you're looking for.
Hassan, what's your opinion on this? You have also skied both, I'm convinced. And then finally, when we talked about the snow, also let's come back to your federation, but your personal experience.
Sure, I mean, it's just like racing, where people like drag racings, tracks, Formula One, and there's so many types of racings. And when it comes to snow racing as well, as Faik said, I prefer the dry snow. I feel much in control, though I'm not a professional racer, but this is my preference. And what keeps me alive as a person is the whole industry. Ski is just a sport, just like any other sport. You need to be fit, you need to have strong legs and quads, and you need to be at the right nutrition with the right supervision. So it's assets, it's location, it's equipment, it's facilities. There are a lot of elements, but if you look into the human elements, that you need to take care of your health. And that's the whole idea about being in sport. If you look into the nation of Saudi Arabia, the youth percentage is high. And there's nothing more comforting and beautiful for a parent to see his kid or grandkids are in sport and in passion and exploring different sports. That's what it takes. And that's what keeps me excited to be a catalyst in such industry, to scout for new racers, for new athletes, to make sure that they're getting exposed to the right equipment and facilities and expert coaching with the right nutrition plan, with the right winning. Something will happen down the road. I know it's not easy. I know it's a dream. We need to keep pushing for it. But that's the passion that drives me every day. We talked about technology. Technology is part of it. It's just a simulation. I mean, if you look into the simulation and the simulator of skiing, it's just part of the process that expedite giving the opportunity for many people to find themselves. Some people are not skiers. Maybe they like different sports, but definitely with having indoors with simulator will scout for new players that will enrich this sport. That's my role, that's my passion. I want to make sure that we expose enough people for this sport. Hopefully one day we'll see someone with a medal.
And Hassan, you walk the talk. You just not talk about it, but you walk it and you live it. You want to share with us where your daughter is at the moment, what she's doing?
Yeah, my daughter she's currently racing in Cortina. It's her first race. I always believe that I'm better than her, and she always laughs on me, but that's my perception. I'm the dad, I'm the father, but I'm pretty sure if I would race with Faik or any of the athletes, they would smoke me out of their way. I'm getting old, but I have the spirit, and I would like to pass it to them to compete.
And we see it's with all your personal stories also, it is about, sports is about people, and it's about the stories and the passion and the emotion going into it. Alex, I know that you have grown up in winter sports surrounding, or you want to share any story of your personal experience with us?
Oh, yeah, I grew up with skiing actually. I started when I was 3 years old, and I grew up at the Arlberg. Arlberg is I say, or actually in Austria, very famous. It's where skiing was started in the 1900s. There is also a ski club founded. The first ski club was founded there in 1901, and I'm a member there. And
it's the first of the world, huh?
It's the first in the world, yes. And skiing in our area is it's really everyone in my region goes every weekend for skiing. We love skiing. The passion there, and it's really nice, you know, to experience the mountains, the snow, the fresh air. When you come home from skiing, you're really like, oh, I have done a nice sport. I had a nice experience. I can only say, everyone who is sitting here, you should try to go out and try to ski a little bit. It's really a fantastic sport.
And Peter, winter sports means a lot to you too. Share any personal experience, any personal story with us?
Now, the funny thing is, I was excited about skiing since I was a very small child. And I think I was still in the kindergarten, I said, when I'm grown up, I want to work in the ski industry. So I made really a dream come true. And I've passed several positions in various different brands in the ski industry, but I'm now in the industry since 35 years. And I mean, that's the best thing that can happen to a person, to make his hobby, his big passion, his profession. So whenever I go to work, I don't feel like work, I have fun every day.
And we are happy you came to Saudi Arabia. Because you are committed, you're excited about the country. It's their first visit to Saudi ever, so it means a lot that you have chosen to come here, and also to see what business you can do and what you can invest here. Doppelmayr has done a lot of investment already, so thank you for that. And coming back to the Saudi Snow Sports Federation, so finally, after the personal talks, for a final outlook, Hassan, what would you want to share on this? What is the next steps for you?
So, as a Snow Sport Federation, we're still working on the details of the strategy, just to make sure we have a very clear plan. Dreams are just dreams. If you don't literally have a robust plan and make sure you keep focusing on that and persistent, just hitting on it, we will not have a success story. As I always keep saying, it's very easy to swim in a swimming pool, but this is an ocean. And competing in ocean is completely different and full of obstacles. Life is not black and white. There's so many surprises. We have to be ready for that. I'm a bit anxious, to be honest, that when I see the number of challenges that we have. It might sound very fun and easy, but in reality, every time I meet an athlete or looking into the challenge that they go through, I cannot sleep at night, just to make sure that we put the best plan for everyone. Hopefully soon we'll be sharing our plan with the athletes about how to proceed. Goals are clear. The mandate from the Ministry of Sport is very super clear. How to facilitate into grounds with the proper actions, that's what need to be wise and consult with the right people, just making sure we don't repeat any mistakes. I mean, maybe you saw me with Faik having a very deep discussion, sharing personal challenges and on ground for athletes. And this is what makes a thin line difference between a proper plan and just a plan. And hopefully we'll learn from his experience, other athletes and other experts in the field. We don't have any ego to say that we know it. No, we don't. We're learning. We just want to make sure we have the right path with the optimum way to achieve our goals. And it's not easy.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for all your passion, and a big applause to our pioneers. Thank you very much.